Hi guys, 6.2 now. So going back a little bit to rearrange equations, we're looking at the standard form, which is ax plus by plus c equals 0. And just back to the stuff we did earlier on in the course about rearranging equations. So the key is we want y to be positive by itself. So I don't care what side of the equal sign it's on, like I said in the video. What you want to have is y by itself. So what you do is when you have an equation like in 1a, x minus y minus 3 equals 0, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the y over here. So you just change the sign with this. It's subtracting on this side. It's positive on that side. And then when that's done, you look at it and you go, I'm done. Okay, I have x minus 3 equals y. If you want to rewrite this like this, you can. Okay, it's a little nicer, but you don't need to. But that's that. Okay, so we want y by itself, and we want y not. So if there was a 2 here in front of the y, let's say we had that there, minus 2y, we'd then have to divide by 2. So that's the only other type of question there is. So let's look at B. Little strategy here. Take a look at this, and we have 2x plus 3y plus 6 equals 0. My y here is positive, so I'm going to move everything else. Okay, so I'm going to move both the x guy, and the 6, and it's plus 2x on this side, so it's minus 2x on that side of the equal sign. It's plus 6 on this side, so it's minus 6 on this side. So when you bring them across, change the signs. And now I have an equation that has a positive y, 3y equals minus 2x minus 6, but I got to get rid of that 3. And like I said in the video, we don't want to just go like this and say divide by 3 because that doesn't help us with the slope and the y-intercept. What you'll do is for each component here, for the 2x, you'll divide that by 3, or negative 2x, you'll divide that by 3. So it's negative 2/3 x. Okay, that's a 3 on the bottom here. Negative 2/3 x, and this here is minus 6 divided by 3, so negative 6/3, but there's a little bit, we can clean that up a little bit. Negative 6/3 is negative 2. I don't know why I'm using black as a highlighter. Let's go there. So negative 6/3 is minus 2, and this is then going to be y equals negative 2/3 x minus 2. Okay, so that is here. Let's just make that a little clearer. I don't know if that's any clearer, but negative 2/3 x minus 2. Okay, so that's how you get that guy there. And then if I asked you later, if you're asked later, which I think you are in this question here, what is the slope, what is the intercept, okay, what you're going to do is just look here and say, okay, that's the slope. That's the slope, negative 2/3, and that's the intercept, negative 2. Okay. This guy here, I made a funky looking x there for some reason. So x minus 4y plus 12 equals 0. Look at the y. Is it positive or is it negative? It's negative, so you're going to move that across. So now it's over here. So now I have x plus 12 equals 4y. I want to get rid of this 4 now, so that's great. The sign's fine, but the number's not, so you got to get rid of the 4. Divide everything on the left. Divide everything by 4 to cancel this 4 out. And now this becomes 1/4 x, right? Because that's imaginary 1 in front, not imaginary 1, but there's a 1 in front of there. So 1/4 x plus 12 quarters equals y. And then when you clean that up, you get 1/4 x plus 3 equals y. Okay, so the 1/4 stays there. 12 over 4 is 3 in lowest terms. And then if you want to rewrite this like this, you can. It is nicer, but it's not necessary. In D, the 2y is positive on the left, so I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so that's fine here. I'll bring everything else over. Just be careful that you change this sign to plus 5. So that is plus 5 on this side. So minus 3x plus 5, and then divide by 2 to get rid of this 2 in front of the y, and you get negative 3 over 2x plus 5 over 2. You can leave it like that or write it as... fractions are fine. If you want to write that as negative 1.5 plus 2.5, you can. Okay, and then when you want to go back, what you can do is go to Desmos to see if this is right and check your work on this. So if I did go to Desmos, I could check any of this out. So let's do that. Oh, we're at it. Where are we here? So that equation there. Let's take a look at the last one. 3. So it's another thing you can do with Desmos is the initial equation for D is 3x plus 2y minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so that is that the equation in the text. And then when I rewrote it in the other form, in y equals mx plus b form, that's over here, I have y equals negative 3 halves x. So let me go with that. So where am I? Over here. I rewrote it as y equals negative 3 divided by 2. And then you're going to have to click beside, up top there. So negative 3 divided by 2x plus, I think it was 5 divided by 2. Is that right? Let me just go back and check. And those should be overlapping. They're not. I think I saw my typo. Yeah. Okay. So, little typo there. You might be yelling at me. Initially, I just typed this in wrong. That was a 5. So I don't know if there we go. So what you're going to notice here is that you can click on the color tab beside each equation, and what you're going to notice is they're the same line. Okay, which is great because that's what you're doing is you're rewriting the same line twice. Okay. So now, if you just want to see if this is true, we said later that our slope was negative 3 halves and our intercept was 5 halves. Well, 5 halves is 2.5. So if you look closely here, we intersect at 2.5. So you can zoom in there. And then it says that our slope is negative 3 halves. Is that true? That would mean that we would have a rise of negative 3 and a run of 2 to get to our next point. Well, that's going to be a little weird, so let's just see if that works actually. If I'm at 2.5 and I go down 3, I'll be at negative 0.5. So I'm down here to negative 0.5 here. Okay, so I was at 2.5 up top here, up here, and then I'm going to go down to negative 0.5, right? Because I'm down 3. My rise is negative 3. My run is 2. So there I'm at negative 0.5 down here, and now I want to go over 2. What am I? Negative 0.5 disappeared. Over 2. So I go over 2, and boom, I do end up at this point right here, which is 2 negative 1.5. Okay, so it does work actually. So that's great. And is one way to check your work. You don't have to, but it's kind of neat, and you can mess around with that and play with that. The last couple of questions are word problems here. So number 4, all you're doing is you're taking this equation here and you're rearranging it. So you have C first. So again, you ask yourself, should I move the C or should I move everything? That C is negative, right? So it's simple. All you do is move that C over here and it makes it positive. So that's what I did here. The 40n stays, the plus 250 stays, and then you can rewrite it just so the C's first and you're there. Okay. When we talk about word problems, the number with no variable is fixed. So 250 is fixed. This is the variable cost. And then if you were to graph this, it would have an intercept, y equals mx plus b type intercept of 250. So you start here, and then the slope is 40. So if we were to graph this properly, our next point would be at 1, and we'd be up another 40 to 290, and then we'd go 2, and we'd go up another 40 to 330, etc. Okay, but we don't have to worry too much about that. In D, the question is, what happens if 100 people show up, and all you're going to do is, this is a question